Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jojin Movie So Awesome. I'm Joe.
I'm One Jin.
Today we are going to talk about
The Lord of the Rings, the Rings of
Power.
Power.
Oh, that was the whole title.
The Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power.
Rings of Power Season 1, all 8 episodes. And we will be also talking about the original trilogy by Peter Jackson and the Hobbit movies when necessary. You have been warned, full of spoilers. Let's start.
Okay.
You know, One Jin, I felt this was a story that creators had a lot of ambition to do, but they couldn't handle it near the end. There were just too many woven tales that I felt they didn't stick the landing well enough. There were some hiccups in the middle, and I say ambitious because when I first watched the first 2 episodes, I thought the scope was really huge. And I got all these fantastic new characters. And I was looking forward to it. Basically, there's 3 major plot lines, right? One dealing with the Hobbit ancestors.
And the guy from the stars.
Yes, which turns out is Gandalf. And another one with Galadriel.
And
on
the
her,
elves.
Yeah, on her Tales of Revenge. And Sauron. And then third is the dwarf and the discovery of Mithril.
Yeah,
which was
this takes place in Moria. Well, after the incident, it's called Moria, but it's called Khazad-dûm. We see this in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Khazad-dûm.
That dungeon.
Yeah, after Balrog destroys it because they dig in, and we get a hint of that too. And now that you mentioned that, I would like to say this: I felt when I first watched the first 2 episodes, I was kind of surprised how original it seemed from the Lord of the Rings trilogy until I watched the remaining 6 episodes. And I was just like, the shadow of those movies run deep on this. They were completely conscious of that movies, which I think didn't work on the show's favor. I really think so. Because like the first, I like some of the characters. You know, one of my favorite scenes is actually Galadriel's first meeting with Sauron. Because you know why that's interesting to me? Because you meet the devil in the crossroad.
Yeah. Good
so
point.
Immediately, the first episode was great in that, like, immediately you're suspicious of him. But they do that meteor thing where I thought of Diablo 3, by the way. Tyrael coming in to save the mortals. Like, even the scene looks so similar. And then you're immediately confused. So there is a mystery there. But the problem is by the 4th episode, you kind of know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Like, because the biggest, like, Gandalf, like let you know is when he pushes the cart. Basically that image is that iconic image of the Gandalf wardrobe.
On that cart with his long pipe and the hat.
Yeah. And then even the Sauron one, you know, we show he's a fighter. But I do like the fact that Sauron is a human being here.
Interesting. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I thought by this point he would still be formless.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. I guess because in the original books, not original books, but the appendix, I can't remember the name right now, but he's supposed to be a shapeshifter, like a devil. And the interesting thing about Sauron is that by making him human, and sharing his philosophy, that was actually interesting. I kind of wish they did more of that. See, this is the problem with this show. Like some parts of it are so redundant that I get bored. Like especially Theo storyline. I was like, you know, that's like this. Theo, where are you? There you are. Theo, where are you? There you are. Theo. By the 3rd time, I'm like, Theo's right there. He's safe.
Yeah, and the last part is like, Mom, where are you?
Yeah,
there you are.
Yeah. Guys, just stay together. You're being chased by orcs. And I was kind of disappointed at the Theo line, though, because I thought he was going to be a half-elf. I thought they covered his ears for that reason. It turns out that was not the case. I thought he was going to be like the secret love child of the elf.
I was hoping that he would have like a darker path.
Right, I
was actually hoping him to do the thing with the sword. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Part of me thought he would.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but another great thing is I love the designs of the orcs, though. Like the costume, the snake skin they wear.
Yeah, it's a very good point, and I think it's worth mentioning because it's been 20 years since Lord of the Rings came out,
Right.
and at the time it was one of the most spectacular CGI and everything.
Right.
But now that hasn't really aged so well. And now we get to see like a modernized version of orc in a greater detail.
Right.
And the design and the detail where they start getting burnt under the sunlight, all these little details. I agree. I think they were brilliant.
I also like the characterization of the orcs. They kind of forget about it near the end, but in the middle, they kind of make us sympathize with them.
Yeah.
Like there's a clear, like when the Adar euthanizes one of the guys close to death, and he claims he's a freedom fighter for these like orcs. We kind of understand what they are. They are slaves of Sauron and Morgoth, and they've just been freed basically because Adar admits that he betrayed Sauron.
Yeah.
And I actually I like those plot lines. So another problem here is some characters I were more interested in like that. And see, this is the problem. I felt like this 8 episodes felt like a movie and a half, not 2 movies. Like I felt like I needed more details of those things before this ended.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, episode 8, like come later. All of this will be revealed later. I'm like, no, that's not enough. Why couldn't you do less of the Theo thing? And the dwarf plot line too. Like dwarf plot line, I love at the start, and then it gets a little boring in the middle. I felt like it could have been condensed to like a single episode over the conflict of Mithril. And why is that Elvish King like portrayed as such an asshole? Like,
I mean, I love the casting, but
Yeah.
I think he's the only cast I didn't really like. I was
Okay.
really satisfied with, because when we look at previous, The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, the Elven King, the old Elrond,
Right.
played by Hugo Weaving.
Yeah.
Great
Iconic
cast.
role.
Yeah, great
Iconic
cast. Isildur!
yeah,
Throw it!
yeah,
That, and what's his name? Thranduil?
yeah,
Our Ronan the Accuser.
yeah.
You could tell in the instant that these guys are like regal and they're like kings. But with this guy, he just seems like one of, I don't know, like a council member or something.
Right.
I didn't really get the impression that he was in charge or he was the king.
Yeah, and see, for me, the elves and the Numenorians were the biggest problem. Like Numenorians too. Like those scenes were kind of boring to me. I was like,
Great. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I
and
mean-
you said that we had to condense some unnecessary scenes and things that
Yeah.
are redundant. What I didn't like was that supposed shift of power from the queen to the what's his name, the dude with the beard.
Yeah.
Like he seems to have more popularity among the people.
Right.
But that didn't really go anywhere in this season.
yeah, exactly.
And the daughter of what's his name, Isildur's father.
yeah.
Her encounter with him and all that stuff I think was completely unnecessary for this season.
Yeah, I mean, I was fascinated at first, but I think they did a really not a kind of a choppy job there, and then they suddenly leave.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. It's hard to explain. Like it's been a while. Like I've seen since I saw it, but I didn't like that part. I felt like that could have been like a single episode, and this could have been a 6-episode series. Some of the Theo storyline get condensed. I mean, and some of that Numenorian stuff get condensed too. So it could be basically like a healthy 6 hours, a 2-movie. Basically, part 1, part 2 kind of setup. Instead, in the middle, it gets meandering.
Yeah.
Like around episode 3, I felt bored, and then I thought something was happening, and then episode 5, I get bored, and then suddenly it's Sauron. Yeah, I mean, I saw it coming, but like,
The great evil.
yeah,
He was all here all along.
yeah. And okay, let's talk about Galadriel too. First of all, I loved her performance, but some of her dialogues were really weak. I felt there needed to be like, you know, in retrospect, House of the Dragon did such a great job of making us get into the mind of Alicent and Rhaenyra. Here, I felt there needed to be a little bit more monologue, if that makes sense. Like,
I think that's a great comparison because these two shows, they're kind of like a parallel because they're both prequels to a great show with a lot of followers and loyal audience. Yeah, and we can't help but compare these two. Right, and like you said, Galadriel, her character. I mean, you said you didn't really like her dialogues, but one line I really liked was when she was talking to Adar, and her inner darkness kind of surfaces for a moment. I think she needed a lot of, like you said, monologues that can help us understand what she's going through, what kind of transition she's...
I kind of disagree with you. I like that scene. If you have shown me that scene on a YouTube clip, I would have liked it. But the problem is, some of it felt like Game of Thrones season 8. Oh, like where there are like leaps of, and then Galadriel, like, because I only knew what the show creators were trying to do after the Sauron reveal. Because actually, I like that scene. I like how they are mirrored to each other. There's a theme going on here, which isn't the angel and devil the same thing? You know, are you a cop or a criminal? You know, because Jack Nicholson has that famous line in Departed, right? When you're holding a loaded gun, what's the difference? And so I really like that theme, but I wish they showed Galadriel more of her inner conflict more, because a lot of that is brushed aside for her kung fu stuff.
And I think I hope they had put more of Galadriel suffering in the past, because that would make it more convincing when she drops those lines, because we just hear from her that she fought for millennia and thousands of her kin have died and blah 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 blah. I wish they had shown us and help us understand why she's becoming radicalized.
Yeah. I mean, she had so much potential, but I think the show just failed at giving her more nuance. But I did love her scenes with Sauron specifically, though. Until I see the mystery gets resolved so quickly.
The secret reveal.
No, like, listen to me. Hey, bureaucrat elf, can you get me a record of all the family line? You weren't shit! And then, like, it came too fast. And because I liked Sauron entering the battle and fighting and all that, and I was more interested in actual, like, his relationship with the Adar, because that was fast. Because in Lord of the Rings, we kind of assume that the orcs are like mindless servants, right?
Yeah, they all just unconditionally serve Sauron.
Exactly. But here we see a first generation elf, like,
saying "fuck you" to Sauron.
Yeah, because in a way she's like Galadriel. You know, he is like that. You know how basically this is how this show could be argued that Galadriel is a trauma victim, like dealing with trauma through violence. And it seems a lot of the characters here are like that, because Sauron is like that too. He has this trauma, and I like how he's so manipulative though. He's like a devil character.
Yeah.
He's not just, oh, bad man, I destroy. He's more like whispering in your ear. And, but I do wish, like, there were more scenes where Sauron can sense Gandalf or something. Like, you know how, like, these, like, Valar servants are kind of like, I sense your presence kind of stuff. Yeah.
What were they called? The first, the wizards, the Gandalf type?
Yeah.
What were they called?
They're Midir or something? Because there's levels to it. There's the almighty creator, and then there's the Valar. They're the gods under him. And then there's the Gandalf level. The Midir. They're like the Valars.
Istar. Okay, Istar. That's the word they use. Istar.
Yeah. But it's kind of... Okay, let's see the race. Yeah.
Maiar.
Maiar. Maiar.
Yeah, Maiar.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah.
What? He's 168? Okay, that kind of tells us how short the hobbits are.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyways...
Yeah, so, no, but, like, See, I have different takes on all the plots. Like the Hobbit thing, I was bored as fuck in the middle, but near the end, I was like, "Fuck yeah, this is the best part." The Dwarf one was like, "This is fun." The bantering I liked, and even the bantering with between Durin and that, it was kind of like a callback to Legolas and the Dwarf, wasn't it?
That's true.
It was kind of like
the elf,
yeah,
dwarf friendship,
racism, but. In the show's defense, though, like Lord of the Rings is about that.
Yeah.
Like different races with different ideology, getting together. And I do like the casting of a lot of. You know what I like though? I like the black actors being casted, but I hated the Asian extras.
We had an Asian extra.
Yeah, there are a lot of Asian extras here, but I felt like if you're just gonna make them extra, just don't do it at all. Like, at least give a role to a guy, a speaking role. I was just like, yeah.
I'm guessing they were super insignificant because I don't recall any Asians.
No, I saw at least.
Wait a minute, there were Asians in this?
Yeah, show? I saw at least 3 Asian actors, but it was kind of like because Game of Thrones at least has the White Worm.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, she's Japanese, British or something. So that was awesome. And they had Asian extra too, but here it's like I'm just like, come on, man! Like, it's just making it like as an Asian, I was just like, come on, you don't need to do this. It's okay. Like,
we understand.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yes.
You know, it's a story. It's a fiction by definition.
This Middle Earth.
Yeah, you can do anything
Asia,
you want. But you know what I mean. That was kind of just a little tidbit. But I love the casting though. Overall, the Gandalf actor was awesome.
And I loved all the, what are they called? Harfoots?
Yeah.
The hobbits?
Yeah.
Supposedly. All the Harfoots did a great job.
Yeah.
At the acting. And
you know that tracker guy, he's like a sir. He's like a famous actor. And like I love that Gandalf loves hobbits because of this. Like I like that part actually. Like, you know, cuz he always have a soft spot for hobbits.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that it's the Hobbit girl that teaches him about good.
And that leads into like a solid friendship.
Right.
Yeah, I love that storyline.
No, but see this show was, I think its ideas were smart. The execution just fell flat. You know what? Gandalf and Sauron are like mirrors, just like Galadriel and Sauron are. The show is asking us, what's the difference between these guys? And the show kind of implies that it's a choice. You know, because and Sauron seemed like he's not some like mindless evil. It's obvious like he's making a decision here.
You know, after watching the last episode, I kind of understood what kind of theme the writers were trying to convey.
Yeah.
Remember the last episode was called Alloy? It had to do something with alloy, like a metal and another metal. They tried to fuse together, and this happens because of the reaction, blah, blah, blah. It was true with all these characters and all these plots. Same goes for Gandalf and the girl, and what's her name? Galadriel and Sauron, and Elrond and Durin. So all these interactions between these two characters lead to some sort of reaction in a way.
That's so good, yeah.
But I don't think they did a fantastic job at conveying the message because like you said, we had some major issues with the overall pacing. One of the things I was unhappy about, one of the biggest thing I was unhappy about was, unlike House of the Dragon, where things moved on really quickly, and we had all these like several time jumps and everything, it just took too long to set the pieces up.
Right.
Yeah, it just took too long to set all these pieces up, and because of that. You said you enjoyed the first 2 episodes the most. In my case, I was kind of bored until episode 4. Yeah, I was like, what the hell's going on? It's like, I was debating like whether to continue or not. It's like, should I keep going or? And then after it gained some traction, things started to get interesting, and then, boom, and then it moved too quickly.
Yeah,
that's the trouble.
Yeah. No, for me, like it's been a while since I have Lord of the Rings book at home, but I never read it like start to finish, and the similarity and like it's like also an appendix thing. But I was fast. You know what I like? I like the showing of maps because one of the things I like like House of the Dragons is sometimes they say names. Like for me, it could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Like what?
We have no idea where that is.
Like what's the gullet? And
oh my god, they're so close. Later we realized.
Yeah, I remember like not knowing King's Landing was like a port city. So all these talk of landings, finally, so it's a port city. Yeah, you know. But I like how it's kind of like, you know, in a way, comic-y. You know, I actually enjoyed that feel in the beginning until they kind of messed up the pacing, like you point out. Because I also felt like the Hobbit travel could have been shortened. And you know, another problem I have is the CG like sceneries are beautiful, but stop showing me those. Like, where is the Transformers style like action I kind of anticipated? You know, what's funny is I felt like the CG budget went into all these beautiful, magnificent wallpapers. And then by like the 6th episode, I'm like, stop showing me these. I don't care. I don't care. You know what I mean? And what's sad about that is like a lot of like scenery shot could also set the mood. And I don't think they did a completely good job at it.
Yeah, you mentioned it. It gave me that Snyder vibe from Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Or was it Superman v Batman? There were all these unnecessary slow motion scenes. And it's okay when you do it like once or twice. But if it becomes redundant, then it starts to get annoying. Especially when it really has no point.
Yeah, another sad thing was the music too. I felt like it was a Lord of the Rings knockoff that was completely not memorable. Because like for me, like House of the Dragon, what they did really well was the soundtrack.
Yeah, that's a great comparison because I still remember that music from the moment Viserys walks into the hall to stand up for his daughter.
My favorite is Rhaenyra's theme. You know, and all of these have a unique characteristic, but here it just felt like Lord of the Rings knockoff, trying to make us feel sentimental about this. You know, and I did not enjoy that. I wish at least Sauron had a hint of evil music or something. Something really sinister. You know, because a perfect music would have been something brewing. You know, making us... Because we're already suspicious of him. He doesn't come off as like a genuine person. You know, the actor did a fantastic job. Except like... See, there's another problem. I wish he would have explained more about his racist mentality, too. Because remember, Gandalf's only line is, I'm good. And then, that means wizard. End the fucking story. I'm like, dude, what the fuck is a Meyer thinking? And who sent you? Who sent you, motherfucker? Did they expect that? Like,
how do you know that? I mean, how did you know to see the stars?
Yeah, I mean, like...
Explain.
Yeah,
what the hell's going on?
I didn't give a fuck about Numenor or whatever those humans... Like, I'm tired. I never need to go there again. Just come back to Middle Earth. But like you guys, like the cosmology was fantastic. Like that's what I wanted explained. Like why are you here? And another thing is like how is Sauron like I wanted to ask Adar like can you kill Sauron like that? Like I guess he's formless and he's always gonna revive. But I didn't know that. You could just straight up stab him like that and then make him disappear or whatever. Like I just needed more explanation like that. And see, like this is the opposite of redundancy. Some things needed to be I felt more explained. Another thing is those wraiths. Like I'm confused of what they are. Like those 3 women chasing Gandalf. Like what are they? Like I don't know what they are. Like I mean they were interesting.
Maybe they're like mini Saurons or something.
Mini Saurons?
Like they're also kind of like wizards, but less powerful.
Okay. Yeah, because I kind of wanted to... Yeah, see, those are like... Because the thing I like about House of the Dragon is they give us just enough history to make it feel like this world is lived in. And visually, Rings of Power did that, like surprisingly well, I felt. Especially the Southlands. I liked it, actually. But oddly enough, they don't explain the cosmology here. That's...
Okay, some of the things I also didn't like about the plot is the way that Theo plot was portrayed. Because remember, they find out that these orcs have been digging tunnels. But what I'm concerned about all along the show, I mean, what I was concerned about all along the show is why won't the elf alert the Elf King? Why is he just staying there? Don't you think he should send a message to bring the cavalry? He just stays there, and he's trying to protect the people there. But I think he can do a lot more help if he actually calls for more help.
See, I think you bring up a good point, but that's the show's problem. I think if they have edited or filmed it in a certain way, we would feel that pressure. But the problem with the show is I never feel I'm in a rush. Never. And, I think that's what Andor does well. Like, continuing tension building. Here, the problem is sometimes the tension is so high, and then Numenaria happens, and there's, like, almost no tension. And then suddenly, like the orc thing was, like, odd. Like, when the first orc came, I was, like, fascinated and terrified by them. And then they get lazy. It's like, whatever. Let's march slowly over to that tower. It's obviously a trap, but fuck that. We're orcs, right? We can die anytime we want.
There's nobody inside.
Yeah, there are a lot of scenes like that. For example, those wolves coming to the hobbits.
Yeah.
I was not terrified at all by that point. Like, I think that's just one of the problems where they kind of failed to keep the tension going.
And another thing is Adar, he's supposed...
Benji Stark?
Yeah, he supposedly, Uncle Benji, supposedly betrayed Sauron. But everything that he had done up until that point was all according... Well, it was to serve Sauron's plan, his grand plan. So was he actually a traitor? No, he says he was trying to free his orcs, but... Look at what he's done. He made that tunnel, which led to the water leading to the underground, the lava, and then causes the explosion and the volcanic eruption, and it kind of terraforms the entire area.
Yeah.
So wasn't that supposed to happen for Sauron, not Adar himself?
No, but I guess what I saw was like that was another Sauron manipulation. Because he's doing that to protect orcs because they can't handle the sun. And he thinks Sauron's gone. But I was surprised that he didn't catch Sauron, though. He knows he's weird. But, I guess Sauron's disguise is that good. But I don't know. That plot for me actually made sense because he's trying to make a home for his people. That's the mood he keeps giving. Because you could argue that the whole... another theme besides the yin-yang being similar here, good and evil, is... how every group of ethnicity is trying to protect themselves. Because the orcs want to home, the elves want to live, so they want to leave. The dwarves are also worried about their people. Numenor, that human island, is also worried about them. And it's these conflicting interests. And Lord of the Rings was about that too. Those like the Fellowship is a symbol of all these people that hate each other for the tiniest reasons, getting together and doing something good. But I actually like that theme. I like the fact that the orc was brought into that too, because I like the orcs.
Because in the Lord of the Rings, it's kind of black and white. Orcs are always supposedly bad.
Orcs bad, elves good.
They don't really give us much more, many more dimensions to the orcs.
Right.
We did get a hint of some awesomeness of the orcs in The Hobbit because of that commander dude.
Yeah.
That guy was awesome in The Hobbit.
No, and remember in Fellowship of the Ring, there's the Uruk-hai. They dig them up, and they're these elite warriors. They do look more like elves, but a corrupted version. But see, here's another thing. Like, they just name drop these things without like further elaboration. I want to know why Morgoth like made you and stuff like that. Are there more Uruks like you? Because I knew what Uruk meant because of the Fellowship of the Ring, because they called them Uruk-hai. So he calls them Uruks. Oh, so you guys are elves, corrupted elves. Tell me more about you. But fuck that. End of season. They made home happy.
I did like the reveal of Mordor, because up until that moment, I did not know that land was going to become Mordor.
Yeah.
And I think for like 2 episodes, we have no idea why the orcs are digging. I just assumed that they were trying to make shades, but that was not true. And that blood sword thing. That was a key. And then that leads to that volcanic eruption, and that turns the whole land into Mordor. That was quite surprising. And also, I was very pleased by it. It's revelation. And that's one thing I like.
Yeah, and I like the fact that like Sauron is basically a mass murderer that kills his own orcs. And that was interesting. I also wanted to know more about the relationship between Sauron and Morgoth. Because there's that one line Sauron says, when Morgoth fell, it was like someone chokehold like left me.
Yeah, it came off.
I was like, what's your guys' relationship? Tell me more about that. But fuck that. Morgoth, we defeated it. End of story. Here's Sauron. And I didn't like how the rings were made so quickly.
Yeah. Because remember this is how the Lord of the Rings begins. They start by explaining the rings.
Yeah.
First, how many rings? 3 rings for the Elven Kings, and
7 for the dwarves, 9 for the humans, something like that.
They even sing a song about it. But I thought the rings were given to them as a gift, according to the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And they somehow forged them themselves.
I don't know. I think the elven ones are also originally always the elves made it themselves.
So, because we know that Sauron will forge a master ring to rule them all, and they know that this Sauron had been in this ring idea all along, they're just gonna wear them?
I don't know. I think I agree with you that it's poorly explained. Like, because from what I remember, like, Sauron definitely made the rings for the humans, but I'm not sure if he made the elves like ring. But here the story kind of implies that he whispered, and he wanted 2, but I guess Galadriel say 3 is balance. And another problem I have is the poor explanation of why Mithril is such a magical thing. Because I felt like because of like the subpar writing here, I felt like they could have done this in one episode.
Yeah.
Like you guys couldn't have come up with the solution this quickly. Like because of the last episode abruptly ending like that, I felt like a lot of the past conflicts were contrived. It didn't justify it. Even the way the rings were made. You take 6 episodes to negotiate, and then 1.5 episodes. Oh, here's the magical thing all over. I'm like, what? What's going on here? That's why I had some major problem with the final episode.
Yeah,
it was just so abrupt, and I did not like that Celebrimbor like scenes. Like, I like the actor. I like that he's there. But he's just there standing there. I kind of
like... I'm the legendary blacksmith. Yeah, I'm the legendary smith. Yeah. That's me.
I'm a legend, but I don't know how alloys work. Here's this dumb human that I never met before.
He's giving me all these great ideas.
Yeah, he with his hairstyle, obviously he looked like a bandit. Sharing me some wisdom. Okay, I'll listen to him. Like some shoddy dialogues too. Power over them. Galadriel's like, oh shit, Sauron said that. Is that motherfucker Sauron? Like, it just is such a quick thing. Like, I did not like that. I wish the ring idea was broached from the start.
Yeah.
So they build it up. You know how House of the Dragon it builds up? From the very first episode, the succession is the issue. There's a major plot line going on here. But the problem with this is there's a mystery, but on like Sauron.
Oh, there's some evil out there.
Yeah, but the ring is poorly explained.
Yeah.
Well,
but the show is called The Rings of Power, which is ironic.
Yeah,
because they don't invest much time in explaining these.
Yeah,
rings.
I still don't. I mean, even in the original Lord of the Rings, the ring is actually a very, very like. It's not completely explained how it works.
But throughout the movie, they show us what kind of qualities the ring has.
But anyway, like, but you know what though? I will say this though. Overall, even though there were some boring moments, I actually had a good time. Like, I mean, I was entertained. Some flashy moments, especially when the queen goes blind. And there were just great scenes that are interspersed with trash scenes. That's the problem. There were great And another problem I have is lack of action. Because Lord of the Rings, if anything, are known for its memorable scenes. Remember that elephant fight with Legolas?
Yeah.
And the Return of the King.
And that ghost army.
Sure.
And that battle of, what's that called?
Yeah.
That big-ass orc jumping into the castle walls.
Yeah.
And Aragorn like yelling, "Stop him!" And then boom, there's that big explosion.
Yeah, and Sean Bean dying, which was set up really well because he is a great character, but he chooses good.
In the end.
Yeah, so that was here. There's nothing like that. When the Queen went blind, yeah, it was shocking. But afterwards, I was like, "Do I care about you? Then I don't fucking know you, hon." Like,
I mean, yes, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't have minded if Theo died. Like, I didn't give a fuck about that kid. I was like, "Who the fuck are you? Like, give us some complexity." Like, the only, like, see, like, I could argue that like Sauron is the most complicated character here.
Oh, and I had no idea he had the hots for Galadriel.
Oh, actually, like, I found that was see this is the problem. That was actually a fascinating theme because I felt like Sauron can't tell the difference between love and power. I wish that was set up more because he's one of those guys that are like perfect dictators because like dictators think they're doing the good thing. Like how like Caesar's like for the people, I must be a dictator for life. It's like that logic here. So and I like that, and I felt he was manipulating her, and Galadriel being attracted to him is like like I think it's symbolic. It's like the same theme from the Lord of the Rings. Remember how she's attracted to that power too, because and her logic is also that I could use this for good. Terrify like whatever.
Oh, when Frodo comes.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
Like she has a logic. I mean, the logic is flawed, but she has a rationale. And here I like the fact that I think their attraction is more thematic than actual like lust. But the problem is, I don't know. But you know what though? I did like their sexual tension in before scenes though. I definitely felt like that wasn't as bad as I anticipated.
Yeah, I think it was okay because it was very subtle.
Yeah. And now that we're looking back, I did like the fact that Galadriel, the justice warrior, is in a way more aggressive, more disciplined. While Sauron, the devil, is more laid back and saying, "I'm gonna stay here, calm down," and how they pick each other up, and that was like that's basically the coin theme, But anyway.
Oh, and one more character worth mentioning is Isildur, because we know from Lord of the Rings that Isildur he chop off Sauron's finger, and he defeats him. Yet he still fails to destroy the ring because of his crave for the power. And I like the fact that he joins the Queen's expedition force, not through honesty, but through manipulation as well.
Right.
Yeah, that's one touch I liked about his character. So he had no problem lying about it.
Yeah. No, but I wish it was shorter. I thought they could have, like, because additional scenes with them don't add anything except that rival politician guy. I didn't feel like, and his sister was really hot, by the way. She was really beautiful, great casting. I like it. I liked his friendship, though. I wish they see. This is the problem, though. I wish they would have gave them more like relevant lines. Like I still don't even know what that island is. Like Galadriel explained it to me, but that place looked fake. Unlike the Hobbit house. Like the hobbits were awesome. Like I really hated them at the start. This is boring, and then I'm like, "Fuck yeah, chubby girl, go for it, go!" I was like, "Fuck yeah!" I liked it, and I even liked their fight with those three ghosts. I know it's silly, I know it's dumb, because like these powered up beings are what are they doing, like bananas or something? But I kind of liked it. It's one of those classic dumb family moment. It's supposed to be dumb. And I like Gandalf realizing his power, like Kamehameha, and then like Matrix moment. I liked it actually. So I mean, there were some endearing scenes, and I love the actor that Hobbit girl. Like she was fantastic in the role, and I like that tenderness mirroring that of Lord of the Rings. See, that's a part where it was done good.
Yeah,
because I think that was done good because the Hobbit storyline was the best because it was just basically like a carbon copy of that. But the other scenes where the problem was, I think the creators wanted to do more, but some of them were like, "But we gotta be loyal to Lord of the Rings," and they just failed to meet the middle ground. And instead, some scenes just look like a poor carbon copy, while some scenes are so ridiculous that you ask, like, what is this here for? This kind of breaks the, what do you call it, lore? Because like, the rings don't make sense anymore. Yeah, because I remember it's an iconic introduction.
So, even after the show is over, what I'm reminded more of is not the rings. It's Balrog. He gave me a stronger impression of the show after the last episode.
I am excited that if they're going to show Balrog actually destroying Khazad-dûm, that'll be exciting. But I didn't like that either. Because again, it was already a callback to Lord of the Rings. Because I think House of the Dragon did a good job on trying to mention Game of Thrones by using the subtlest way possible. So, I think it's hard for prequels to break free of their original content. But here, I think this one did not do a best job. I mean, some scenes were good, but not the best job. Because I think there's a reason why Saul Goodman's first season, you don't get any mention of Breaking Bad. Like, almost none. I mean, there are Easter eggs, but you intentionally try to ignore it, showing this is a brand new world. And I felt like the first 2 episodes did that until suddenly this came like a retro Lord of the Rings. I did not like that.
That's a great point, because Better Call Saul really didn't have any of the callbacks to Breaking Bad until that moment Tuco opens the door.
Right.
And that gives it that gives the excitement to the
you gotta
audience.
set it up right.
Yeah.
And I felt like a lot of dialogues were a callback, which was, you know what? I was being too harsh. Like, some of them were okay. And you know what? Overall, would I recommend this show? I actually would.
Yeah.
It's actually entertaining.
Especially to Lord of the Rings fans.
Yeah.
It was quite interesting for me to see how things were before the Lord of the Rings era, because they're walking around the same area that the Fellowship were traveling through, and also the parts that we saw in The Hobbit, but they're just named differently. The Southlands, I think it eventually becomes Gondor.
No, but Wonjin, I have a different opinion. I would actually recommend this to people who don't care about Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay.
Because I think there is a very strong opinion about this show. I have noticed it inevitably. I felt like those came from like diehard book fans. Just like Star Wars, how they get furious when there's a contradiction in the AKA
this is not canon.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what they say all the time.
I mean, which is understandable in a way, because you care about these things. But I would actually recommend this to people who don't care about those things. You just want to have a good time. Because I try not to judge this show, because I watched it late after it was done, and Galadriel wasn't so bad. You know what? I like the fact that she swims the ocean, though. It made sense to me, because remember, we grew up watching Legolas jump, like defy gravity, and jump up an elephant. And I'm like, I didn't have any problem with that. I was like, elves can do that. Awesome. Because she's like basically swimming
an entire ocean.
Yeah. No, and like the first episode was strong because of the Sauron meeting, but I also like the theme how she's rejecting the light and going to deep waters, because I think they intentionally made the water seem horrifying.
Yeah.
So like, I thought it was gonna be a thematic rich experience. I was wrong. It turned into TV really fast, but still I was entertained. So let's give a letter grade, Wonjin. Why don't you give a?
I would give it. If it's a letter grade, like
let's number. Let's do 10 out of
B minus, maybe.
So is that like
maybe
a 6?
I would give it a 6, maybe 6.5.
You know what?
6.5.
I'm happy to say I am in total agreement with you. I would actually give this 6.5. 6.5, C plus or B minus, because, and And I still think this show has potential, though. Like, there were a lot of interesting ideas here. And, you know, because I wish the show creators either, if they're going to do this, ignore the books altogether or make a loyal one. You know, because, like, I think it's, you know, this reminded me a lot of the Last Jedi, like, backlash.
Oh, yes.
Because I think if you are a creator, you're always, and touching made work, there's an artist's ego. You know, you want to reset the whole thing. But I think it's really difficult to do that. You know, find a happy middle ground here. And I don't know, though. I don't know. But they know better than us. Who are we? We're just review. But anyway, that is our take, I think, on Lord of the Rings, Ring of Power. If you need something to watch and you ran out of show on a Sunday afternoon, I recommend this. You know, around 3 p.m. before dinner, you can't take a nap, just get a popcorn and enjoy it. Don't have high expectations. Then everything will be all right. Okay, anyway, that was our take. This has been Joe Jin Movie So Awesome. I was Joe.
I was One Jin.
We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Bye-bye.